That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Described as soft-spoken, Armstrong shielded away. He stayed away from the spotlight, spending in the last years of his life on a farm in Ohio. U.S. Air Force Brigadier General Charles Duke, Jr. is a former NASA astronaut who knew Mr. Armstrong very well and last saw him at an Apollo 16 reunion back in April. He joins us live now on the phone. General, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
General, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to get very personal at the very start of this. If you would tell me, when you first heard the news about Mr. Armstrong's passing, I'd like to know a little bit about your prayers at that moment.
Well, I was said prayers for his family, and also I was just stunned. I knew he'd had open heart surgery this month, and we were expecting a recovery, so it was just a shocking news that we received this earlier this afternoon.
And back when you saw Mr. Armstrong in April, tell me what were some of the memories you had from that day?
Well, it was he came for our Apollo 16 40th anniversary celebration at Kennedy Space Center, and gave a talk, and just was there. Just a wonderful time. We looked good, I thought, and we just had a great reminiscing of not only Apollo 11, but my flight. That he was really one of my mentors, and I think because of our relationship, I got to go to the moon, and he's just a great friend I've lost.
And isn't it amazing and so wonderful when someone who began as your mentor transformed into your friend? Tell me some of the moments you remember Mr. Armstrong as your friend.
Generally when we'd get together for various celebrations around the country, and we were just friends. We talked about family, and we talked about our interest and what you're doing now and all of those kind of things. And so it was just sort of a general friendship, close friendship.
And when you got down to business, did you talk about the circumstances surrounding NASA today? And if you did, what do you recall were Mr. Armstrong's thoughts about that?
Well, I don't remember specifically his thoughts, but we were, of course, disappointed that we don't have a program underway for manned space flight. The unmanned programs are doing great, but we just in a time of inactivity in manned space flight, and we're just both were really hoping we'd get going again soon.
Indeed. And General Duke, because you were so fortunate to have known Mr. Armstrong, as you said, as a close friend, a mentor, I'd like you, we've all read about Mr. Armstrong in the history books, but I'd like you to leave us with some adjectives and ways that we should remember this great American.
Well, that would be the first. He was a great American. He was a great pilot. He was a great friend. Probably one of the most soft-spoken, quietest, most humble men I'd ever met. You'd never would have known from him that he walked on the moon. I think just as an example of his humility and that of the crew, of all of the Apollo mission patches, Apollo 11 was the only patch that didn't have the crew's name on them. So it was not his flight, it was America's flight.
And boy, isn't that sentiment, us as Americans united, isn't that a sentiment that we should all cling to in these days and times? General Charles Duke, Jr., I really appreciate your time, and thank you very much for sharing your great insight and thoughts on that great American hero, Neil Armstrong. Thank you, sir. And one reminder,
pleasure.
Absolutely.